If I was to advertise something, and the thing about it is that we're Muslim minorities, many of us are converts to Islam. And many of us in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may have an excuse. We may have an excuse in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We live in America. We're surrounded by debauchery. We're surrounded by immorality. We're surrounded by this. From the moment you walk out your door, you're surrounded by it. The summertime, we have to, be confronted with women wearing basically nothing outside. Just this past summer, we had a phenomenon of women wearing see-through shirts, thinking that it's okay to expose their breasts. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is the type of environment that we live in. We might be excused in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Many of us are converts to Islam. We converted to Islam from Christianity. And then we convert to Islam and we still have a warped understanding of Islam, even after converting to Islam. So many different versions to choose from. You have the War of Deen community, you have the Nation of Islam, you have the Sufism, you have Shia, you have this, you have Sunni, Salafi, this, that. You have so many different versions of Islam. You're just hoping that when you come into Islam that you choose the right one. You don't have a gauge by which you can determine who's telling you the truth and who's not. We don't have that. And these same people who come into Islam and may not be as fortunate, as fortunate as some other people, you come into Islam through this particular orientation or that orientation, and you're automatically condemned. You don't get any pass. And then you have brothers who will run to Saudi Arabia and get, a ruling, an edict from this scholar or that scholar about you and a mistake that you made. You're a convert to Islam. You studied a little bit about Islam. And sometimes your articulation may not be that great. Sometimes you mean well, but the way that you articulated didn't come off right. Maybe you made a mistake. Maybe it was a mistake. I don't think any imam who makes a mistake intentionally said, as he was preparing his lecture, I'm going to lead everybody astray today. I'm going to lead everybody astray. I don't think any imam who has been warned against, I don't think any imam who has ever been warned against intentionally, as he was preparing his lecture, made the intention to lead somebody astray. As the Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu was having a conversation with Abdullah bin Mas'ud about the Khawarij. And he said to Abdullah bin Mas'ud, "A kuffarun hum? Are they kuffar? Are they kuffar?" And Abdullah bin Mas'ud said, "Min al-kufri farru." Kuffar? They ran from kufr. No, they're not kuffar. He asked Abdullah bin Mas'ud about the Khawarij. Abdullah bin Abbas, he went to go debate with them. And when he came back, he said, "A kuffarun hum? Are they kuffar? Are they disbelievers?" And Abdullah bin Abbas said, "Min al-kufri farru." They ran from kufr. I mean, how could they be kuffar? They're not kuffar. They're not disbelievers. So Ali said, "Well, men who are they?" And he said, "Hum ikhwanuna baghu alina." They're our brothers. They just transgressing against us out of ignorance. They're our brothers in Islam. But Abdullah bin Abbas said, "Kuffar?" He said, "Min al-kufri farru." They ran from kufr. They're not kuffar. The point that I'm making is that I don't think any imam that has made a mistake in the past or in the present, or who will make a mistake in the future, or student of knowledge, did so with the intention of making a mistake. But yet their mistakes are recorded. Their mistakes are taken back to scholars from Saudi Arabia, and then they are refuted with no benefit of the doubt. Right? When I put the post up, some people said, "Well, did anybody call the ulama there? Did anybody speak to the scholars there?" Did any of the scholars who warned against students of knowledge here in America, did any of the scholars reach out to any of those students of knowledge? Nah. And we are the minority. We should be given that benefit of the doubt. We should be given that, let me extend my reach to him. Let me reach out to the brother. That's never extended to us. But there's a double standard, because when, when I say, well, when are the scholars going to say something about Nelly coming? And by the scholars, I meant those scholars who constantly put themselves in the middle of our affairs here in America. I'm not talking about, scholars who are, deserving of that title, scholar, alim, Rabbani. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about those scholars. I'm talking about those who prop themselves up and, love the fact, or, take advantage of the fact that we appear not to have our affairs in order. Is it the mistake that makes, that's the issue, or is it the person possibly teaching deviancy? How would you know that the person is actually teaching deviancy unless you sat down with the brother and you explained to him his error, his wrong, his matter, and went back and forth? All right, they said Sheikh Rabi'a was advising or warning Sheikh Fali for 13 years, right? They were contemporaries. They went to school together, right? And Sheikh Rabi'a, this is what was said, that Sheikh Rabi'a was patient with Sheikh Fali for 13 years, right? Why is it that Sheikh Rabi'a can be patient with Sheikh Fali for 13 years? Which, I believe is an exaggeration, because that means that if he was a deviant for 13 years, you're just letting him teach his deviance for 13 years? You never once corrected him in 13 years? You were patient with him for 13 years, so meaning that you were allowing him to teach his deviance for 13 years? But why isn't the student of knowledge that lives here in America, that converted to Islam, that studied a little bit in Islamic University, why isn't he you should be advising him for 26 years, double the time that you are advising a scholar from Saudi Arabia, right? I mean, do you understand that? Does that make sense? Why is a scholar from Saudi Arabia extended the luxury of being advised in private for 13 years by another scholar, and a student of knowledge here in America isn't even given the benefit of the doubt? He's immediately warned against. No phone call, no patience, no verification of if in fact what is being brought to you is actually the truth of the matter. None. No verification, no patience, no warning against him, just immediately you're warned against. Stay away from him. He's a person of innovation. He's a person of bid'ah, blah, 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 blah. This is the double standard that I'm talking about. This is the double standard that I'm talking about. Don't you think it would be more plausible for you as a scholar in Saudi Arabia that if information is brought to you about a student of knowledge who graduated from the university, who made an error here, don't you think that it would probably be better for you to be more patient with him and trying to help redirect him, rather than the scholar in Saudi Arabia who holds himself to be this huge scholar, right? Why is he given 13 years of patience and working with him and trying to redirect him? But the student of knowledge who makes a mistake in America, you understand, where there are Muslim minorities, where he's a convert to Islam, where a lot of people rely on his guidance and his word and, his lectures and things like that. Why do you immediately just warn against him and throw him off the minhaj and put him out of it and don't listen to him, don't take from him, don't do this with him? Don't you think that it would be better for you to extend a little more mercy to him than the scholar right there next to you, who should know better because he's a scholar? I'm just throwing it out there. I would think, and this is probably what our religion teaches us, I would think that the benefit of the doubt would be extended to this person. You know what I'm saying? It would be extended to this person, and a little bit of compassion and mercy and excuses made for him. And we'll get the brother's number. Did any scholar, right, when someone comes to them and says, Sheikh, there's a brother in America, he says this, did any one of those scholars ever say, get me his number, let me call the brother? Is he a graduate from the university? I probably know him. I probably know him. I probably know his father. Because there's many brothers who have graduated and their fathers were students in the university. I probably know him. I probably know his father. Get his number. Get his number for me. Let me call him. Let me advise him myself. Let me speak with the brother. No, it's none of that. None of that. He's just immediately warned against, stay away from him, don't take anything from him, don't sit with him, don't take no knowledge from him. And then we create this whole phenomenon in our community where we're Muslim minorities. So, Saudi Arabia is inviting Nelly to give a concert. And we make excuses for them because that's the kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The scholars probably warned against them. So, Saudi Arabia is not synonymous with the scholars. And all of these different excuses that we come up with, right? Saudi Arabia is not perfect. But let the smallest mistake come from a student of knowledge or imam or a da'i here in America, and it's off with his head, right? Off with his head. As Basquiat said, young kings get their heads cut off. We get rid of them very early. Young kings get their heads cut off, right? It's just sad, man. It really is, and it's a double standard. It's a double standard. So while we'll go and we'll say, Sheikh, there's a conference going on here, this person's speaking, this person, he's a deviant, and the Sheikh says, stay away from that conference. Don't go near it. Don't take any knowledge from anyone at that concert, right? At that conference, right? And then Saudi Arabia is giving a concert, a public concert with a known rapper that is known to spread, debauchery and immorality.